I wanted to give you a walk around of my 5th Gen 4Runner. I built a set of drawer systems for it a couple months ago. I built actually 2 of them for me and another buddy to replace one that I had built a couple years ago out of wood. It worked pretty good for a while, but I figured it was time for an upgrade and make it out of 80/20 extruded aluminum. So I was just going to do a walk around and show you what it looks like in the back of the 4Runner, and then I'll pull it out and put it on the table that I normally camp with and give you a little more detail as well. So let me flip the camera around and we'll get closer in. So here it is in the back of the 4Runner. As you can see, it's definitely fit the 5th Gen. It does take up the very back of it, and it's custom made for the 5th Gen 4Runner, but it uses the factory tie-down points on all 4 corners. It does leave sides spacing for the inverter on this side. I do use that on occasion, and then also on this side to carry like a tool roll, and I do have some straps and stuff. But on top, it leaves enough room that we can put, you know, canvas bags, stuff like that. We could still travel with it outside of camping. It's still useful, and I can still see out of the back of it, which is, you know, pretty nice compared to my old version. And it has space underneath for the camp table and stove that I use. And in a minute, I'll show you the back side of it as well, where the battery sits and how tight it is with the back seats. Because the back seats are usable, you can't recline with them. But anyway, let me pull out the fridge and I'll show you how that works. It is set up for a Dometic 75. It's pretty much the biggest fridge I can fit in this and still be able to use it. But it's got 500-pound locking slides. Let's see if I can do it with one hand here. And it's a full extend out. It's pretty nice. You're able to use, you know, doesn't get in the way of the drawer when you flip it open or anything like that. And then also height-wise, it's really good. It doesn't impede with the tailgate at all, and you can actually get the full width and height out of it. So it works out pretty good. The slide and everything is really good weight for this size. Like I said, we had sent off to Florida and had this tray system bent, and they delivered it back, and everything works really good. It works really good with the weight on it. Let me slide this in. On this side, we have 2 drawers. The top one is actually full length for the entire system that goes in the back of the 4Runner, and I basically use it for larger items. There's, you know, some skillets in there and things like that. And then the bottom drawer only goes in halfway because of the battery in the back, and I just use it for smaller type items. But as you can see, it doesn't come out as far as the top one does. And basically, this section underneath on the inside is where the battery and stuff are set up. So let me get all these back in, and I'll show you around to the other side and show you how the seats and stuff work with it. So this is the inside. What I really like on this setup that I did is the top deck's a lot lower than my last build. So I had it up a little higher, and I had a battery up there. I didn't really like it too much. You couldn't really see out the back very well from the rearview mirror and whatnot. But as you can see, it does give you a pretty good view out the back window still. So yeah, so I'm gonna drop down the seat. You can see what's behind it. You can see, so it definitely utilizes every bit of the room back here. The seats open and close fine. They will not recline back. But back here is where I have the battery section set up. And it basically, you can see on this side as well. So it uses all 4 of the factory tie downs I use on 4 corners with just turnbuckles. Let me flip it around and I'll show you the behind the refrigerator. So on this side, let me flip the seats up. So as you see, that's with the headrest folded down. I guess it gives you a little bit more perspective on how high that comes up or how low it is. But anyway, on the back of it, this is the fridge setup. So the cord and everything comes out the back, and it actually uses a VR headset style lanyard retractor that actually keeps the cord up from getting pinched. And I do strap it on front and rear with some straps, and I've added some extra foam just to keep things from moving around and rattling and keep it nice and tight. But yeah, so this is the back view of it, or the inside, and I'll pull everything out and put it on a table and we can look at it from here. But it's basically made out of 80/20 extruded aluminum. And then the drawer system, as far as the actual drawers themselves, are plywood. They're 1/2 inch. And then this fridge tray we made, sent off to a company in Florida that bent everything out of basically one sheet of aluminum, and then we basically just nut-serted each one of the slides to it. But yeah, so we've, like I said, we've done this, been using it for maybe about 3 months or so. Camped with it about 2 or 3 different times, and then several day trips without camping in it. And so far it's been working really good. This is sort of my version 2.0. I built one similar to this, and I took across country for like a 2-week trip with the whole family and everything else. And it was made out of just plain wood. Didn't have time to carpet it, didn't paint it, just shoved it in the back of the 4Runner and made our trip, knowing that I'd come back and do another version of it. So I basically just sort of wanted to walk around it and show what I did. And I've got the plans and everything for it. I did it all up in Shaper. I think it's Shaper 3D is what it's called. But it, as it sits, this goes in the back of a 5th Gen 4Runner. This basically the bottom end slides right at the base of the floor. Nothing modified on the 4Runner itself, just standard 4Runner mat that it comes with. It does sit in it pretty tight there, and then it uses turnbuckles on all 4 of the tie downs. And I do have solar on top that basically comes in on the side here. We've got made a couple different connections. So basically you got 2 Andersons. I made the top for solar, obviously, because maybe the top's on the, on the top of the 4Runner, that's where the solar is. And then this is, I can use for another in or out. So driving down the road, if I want to do DC to DC or just cigarette lighter, or if I just make a dongle and make that come out, and then also just got a 12 volt cigarette lighter. So if I want to do a barrel plug for flashlights or a phone or whatever else, since the 4Runner doesn't have always on power, we can plug into that, and it basically goes around to the back of this. Everything's fused, and then basically the wires run around and come down to this area here. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but this area is the battery compartment. So I did basically a DIY ammo can kind of batteries from some cells from Battery Hookup, lithium iron phosphate that was 100 amp hour. And I'm having some issues with one of those cells, so I actually bought one of the Power Queen batteries I did a review on, and it works really good. It's going in here, and I'm in the process of rewiring all of this to have the solar charge controller up here. As you can see, it's coming out. And with this size cavity, I can actually put 2 group 24 batteries running vertical, and that would give me 200 amp hours. Or right now I just bought one. I'm gonna lay it down flat and run 100 amp hours. And then one of my buddies that saw the review on that battery, he actually bought 2. So once I finish mine, I'm gonna work on his, and we're gonna have 2 verticals that are gonna be in here that'll be strapped down, that'll have a total of 200 amp hours that, runs this fridge. And he's gonna have a rooftop tent, so he'll have a Chinese diesel heater, a shower, things like that, that this can all run, and he doesn't have to carry basically another pack. But yeah, so this is the back of it. This just covers up a drawer. So basically the way that I got this to work is the top drawer is full length and the bottom drawer stops short down here. That way we can have the battery compartment in it. And then, as you can tell, there's also a gap underneath. This gap is tall enough that I can take this lifetime table that you can get from Walmart or whatever else, fold it flat, and it sits in here actually on this side. And then I have a Coleman stove that slides in on this side, and it all fits around that battery compartment. So I don't have to have another table up somewhere else. This sits on the 4Runner floor just like you see it, but then this table slides in, the stove and everything fits underneath, which makes it pretty nice. And then as far as the compartment, so like I said, the bottom drawer is a shorter drawer, so it comes out to here. These are 150-pound slides, if I'm not mistaken, on each one of the drawers, and then on the fridge I did 250-pound slides. But basically it's all just out of 1/2-inch plywood. So I went through and did the lining on it. It turned out really good. Did green on the inside just to add a little bit of color, and then black on the outside. And I say I just nut-serted the same way. On the inside I've got, I say nut-sert, it's a wooden nut that basically pulls into the wood that mounts for those, and they work pretty good. let's see if I can do this with one hand. They do lock, as you can tell, and then the full one comes all the way out as well. And then this one, you know, I've got other things. Excuse the mess when I've been camping, but in here I've got, you know, multiple cast iron pans, pots, silverware. Carries everything we need. I also have propane, and then like another Stanley type stove up here that's a cup stove compared to a pan stove. And push this in. It does take two hands since the drawers lock in and out. And the fridge is the same way. So as you can see, it pulls all the way out, full extension. I put a Dometic 75. So it's a dual zone fridge, freezer, Dometic fridge. It's 79 pounds empty that fits into this. Obviously the plug goes in here. That's what this port's for, and it can access the 120 volt if I ever use that, but I never plug it into the house. And then this is a tie down strap. But yeah, so this is one solid sheet of aluminum that we sent off and got bent. And have the drawing plans for that. I could probably attach somewhere if y'all need it as well. But this is everything it does. Basically, the power runs around the bottom, goes all the way front, and tethers here. And it's actually on, I'll go around the other side to show you. It's actually on a VR headset floating mount. It's basically this tethered here. And so as the fridge goes in and out, that comes in and out. So you'll see if I pull it in, it sort of retracts in. And so it keeps the cord from getting hit on anything. And that fits in here just perfect. The back side of this is the plug for the Andersons. Everything's fused coming in here. So we're all good on that side. And then as far as the outside, like I said, everything's 80/20 aluminum. We went with like a 1/4 inch super thin wood on all of the sides and basically just glued carpet it. And then same way for this. And then on the top side, we did 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. And that allows us to, when we put stuff in the 4Runner, that we can obviously put things up here to store, like for a bag for like chips and bread and whatever else, and suitcases and duffel bags or whatever. Because like I said, we actually have gone on multiple trips, South Carolina and things like that, that's non-camping. But this thing works great. You can take the fridge out, roll it in to your hotel room or whatever else, and you don't have to unload everything. And it's plenty of room. It does consume every bit of the cargo space. The seats do come up, and they do come up and fit right up against the top of this, and it does leave, I don't know, maybe about 4 inches, and I can show that whenever we put it back in the 4Runner. But it is built to maximize the exact space the back end of the 4Runner, and it's been working great. Very little noise. There is some chatter a little bit with the aluminum fridge tray. You'll get some of the metal, but we strapped the fridge down. It cinches down pretty good. It's pretty quiet, to be honest with you. Altogether, without anything in it, I think it's right at 120 or 130 pounds, which works nice because you can take the table that it comes out with, slide it up to the back of the 4Runner, and basically pull the drawer straight out on it. And so it helps you from having to pick it up and do everything by hand. So then whenever you want to go to put it in, you just sort of slide it up or back the 4Runner up to it and then push it straight on in. And it seems to work great. All in all, it was fairly expensive. You know, all the 80/20 aluminum I got from, where'd I get it from? T-Nuts is the name of the store I got it from. But basically you just send them how many pieces you want, what size you want, and they cut everything and it shows up in a box. Everything is powder coated, everything's pre-cut, everything's really nice. And you just put it together like an erector set. Now all that was fairly inexpensive. It's whenever you get to the slides, you get to all the different components, the hardware that it takes, the tie downs, all that kind of stuff that you mount everything to. That's where it starts getting expensive, because like you can see, there's corner brackets and there's hidden brackets in here. There's a lot of bracketry together. That starts adding up pretty quick. But man, it's so much better than the wooden one. It's one of those buy one, cry once, because I want to say when I did with the plywood, the one that I built, it was like $450 by the time I got the slides, got the plywood, everything else. And yeah, this was, I want to say it might have been $1,300, but it's a custom-made aluminum one. It's not going to rust. It's not going to dry rot. It doesn't squeak. It doesn't creak like wood. And man, it's sharp. I really like it. Anyway. Okay, I just wanted to do a quick screen record of basically the drawer system I set up. This is in a Shaper 3D program. And I just did everything out of basically the 1x1 extruded aluminum. And this is just the basic structure of it, without any of the drawers, any of the fridges or anything like that. But so it's basically just the structure all around the system. These on each side are the slides, and the aluminum tray that we've got in here. But yeah, so I wanted something that I could do that wasn't wood, that I can easily build and replicate it. And basically you can flip this one side or the other if you want the fridge on the other side or whatever else. But like I said, this is specifically designed to fit in the back of a 5th Gen 4Runner that does not have the 3rd row seating, so it would not work in a limited. And it doesn't work well with one with the slide out tray system. You'd have to remove the tray. Yeah, so you've basically, so this is the back view. This is the battery compartment that's set up. And this is currently the way that I've got it sitting in my 4Runner, and this is the front view. So we've got a section underneath that we can slide in some items, the fridge, and you'd have 2 drawers. So if I come in and say I want to add the fridge slide, add the fridge and the accessories from underneath it. So basically this is the Dometic 75 and how it fits inside that frame. And it's tight, but it does fit. It doesn't hit the seat. It does not hit the front of the tailgate when you close the 4Runner. It's actually a little tighter in this drawing, but it does have a little bit, you can see here on either side, it does have a little bit of movement, which makes it a whole lot easier when you go to try to pull in and out of the 4Runner. And then if I turn the fridge off, you'll see underneath, basically this is the lifetime table that I slide in, that I camp with. But basically it folds down and it does fit inside here. And then this is a Coleman stove. And currently this is the battery that I have drawn up in it, but this one is the one that was a DIY battery that was in like an ammo can. So I basically spec'd out the ammo can size to fit back here, but I'm currently replacing it with a Group 24, and you can actually stand up 2 Group 24 batteries in here with no issues whatsoever. There's plenty of room for it. But yeah, so that's just a quick overview. Like you had, if I add the fridge back into it and then go in and put all the tops on, you can see basically sort of what that looks like. Take the fridge and accessories out. But yeah, so I do have a wall section that comes down that covers this section here. I do have one that is in between the fridge and these drawers. That way there's nothing that can fall in and out of there. And then I do have one on the outside of this wall here that goes all the way down, and that were to block anything to fall in inside the fridge. And on the back side, sorry if this is making you dizzy, this top section for this drawer is covered, and I leave this whole bottom section back here open. That way I can slide the battery and stuff in like that. And then also basically all the way around the bottom of the frame I have open as well. But anyway, it's just something I did in Shaper 3D. Got all this measurements and was able to take everything that I got from this, put it into T-nuts, and basically did like a big batch order for all the parts. They came in one big order. I think I want to say I got them about a week. Everything was cut. Everything was the black anodized aluminum. It turns out really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far. Anyway, that's it. I just want to wrap this video up. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a long walk around, but there was a lot of information about this, and I just wanted to share it. I know a lot of people that's asked a lot of questions and been meaning to get around to it and just haven't done it. So anyway, I'll link to any of the stuff in the description below, and talk to you on the next video.